All right, today we're going to tackle a huge challenge, one that pretty much every modern engineering team faces, moving a critical service from just one cloud to many. But we're not just going to wing it, no. We're going to build a repeatable blueprint, a runbook, that makes this whole complex process safe, predictable, and something anyone can follow. Let's dive in.
So, let's start with a question that probably hits a little too close to home for a lot of you out there. Imagine it. Your most important services, all your customer data, your revenue, it's all running on a single cloud platform. What's the thing that keeps you up at night? Is it the thought of a massive region-wide outage? Or maybe a sudden, painful price hike? Or is it just that nagging fear of being completely locked into one vendor's way of doing things forever? That dependency, right there, that's the core problem we're going to solve.
So what's the answer? Well, it's what we call a multi-cloud posture. And let's be really clear here. This is not just about having a backup somewhere. No way. This is a deliberate, strategic move. It's about distributing your applications to boost your resilience so you can survive an outage, and most importantly, to finally break free from that vendor lock-in. This is the end goal we're working toward.
Okay, to make this all feel a bit more real, we're going to frame this whole thing as a mission. And our target? A fictional but absolutely mission-critical payment service. I mean, think about it. If this service goes down, the business literally stops making money. The stakes could not be any higher, which honestly makes it the perfect candidate for this multi-cloud treatment.
And what's the outcome of this mission? It's a runbook, a detailed step-by-step guide. The whole point is to make sure this migration isn't some chaotic, one-time, all-hands-on-deck emergency. Instead, it becomes a documented, repeatable process that any other team in your organization can pick up and use to make their own services more resilient. Every good mission, it starts with solid prep work. So we're calling Phase 1 recon and rehearsal. Before we even think about moving a single byte of production data, we need to understand the terrain and we need to practice our moves. This is all about preventing those nasty surprises down the road.
Our recon work starts with this discovery checklist, and it's absolutely critical. You have to map every single dependency because, trust me, one forgotten API call can bring your entire application to its knees. You've got to understand your data stores inside and out. Can they even be replicated in real time? Security and compliance, they're not afterthoughts. They have to be baked in from day one. And finally, you have to define what success even looks like with hard numbers. What's the acceptable latency? What's your error budget? If you don't have these metrics, you're just flying blind.
Now for the rehearsal part. You'd never perform a complex surgery without practice, right? And you should never, ever do a complex migration without a pilot. We start small, maybe with just one non-critical feature. This is our sandbox. It's where we get to find all the weird, unexpected issues in a super low-risk environment. And that process, it builds the team's confidence for the main event. It is the polar opposite of a full-scale migration, where just one tiny mistake can trigger a massive outage. All right. With our recon and rehearsal complete, it is time for Phase 2, the main event. This is it. This is where we execute the actual migration of our payment service. All of that careful planning is about to pay off right now. The heart of any service like this is its data. Getting this step wrong is, it's catastrophic. That's why we use this careful three-step approach. First, we do an initial bulk copy to get the vast majority of the data across. But hey, while that's happening, new data is still being written to the old database. So step 2 is crucial, setting up ongoing real-time replication to keep both sides perfectly in sync. And finally, before we do anything else, we validate. We have to be 100% certain that the data is absolutely identical in both places. No guesswork allowed.
Okay, data is in sync. Now we can start moving our actual users, but we are not flipping a giant switch. No, we're going to do this with a safe, gradual approach. We start by routing just 1%, a tiny fraction, of live traffic to the new environment. Then we watch our dashboards like a hawk. Is latency good? Are error rates at 0? If everything looks good, then we slowly dial it up, 5%, then 25%, and so on. Only when we're at 100% and everything looks perfectly stable for a good while do we even think about turning off the old system.
So, we've successfully moved our service. Awesome. But what happens if something goes horribly wrong during that process? Well, that brings us to Phase 3, our essential safety net, the rollback plan. This is the question that should be on every single architect's mind, because hope is not a strategy. We have to plan for failure. During a high-stakes move like this, things can and absolutely do go wrong. Having a pre-planned, practiced escape hatch is completely non-negotiable. A good rollback plan isn't based on a gut feeling. It's based on cold, hard data. We need to define our triggers way ahead of time. These are our non-negotiable red lines. If the critical error rate suddenly spikes above 5%, or if latency for your P99, your slowest users, jumps by more than 20%, you don't debate it. You don't call a meeting. You trigger the rollback immediately. This removes all the emotion from the decision, and, most importantly, it protects your users.
So, we've gone through the entire mission, from planning and rehearsal to execution and having a safety net. Now let's distill all of that incredible knowledge into our final blueprint, the one-page runbook.
And here it is. This is what it all boils down to, our entire strategy, right here on a single page. It starts with discovery, knowing exactly what you're moving. Then the pilot, practicing the move in a safe space. Then you get to the core technical work, migrating your data and safely shifting your users. And holding it all together is your safety net, a clear plan to roll back if anything goes sideways. This isn't just a list of steps, it's a blueprint for building resilient systems.
So there you have it. The blueprint is now yours. The steps are clear, the strategy is sound. The only real question left is, what's the first critical service in your organization that you're going to make more resilient using this plan? Thanks for joining me.